Welcome to Journey to the Oasis, the space where the next generation of leaders, visionaries, and disruptors come together to shape the future. Virtual is more than coaching, it's a movement. We're building the #1 community for human potential on planet Earth, with the mission to help you design a life you truly love. One filled with clarity, alignment, and impact. Through portal sessions, our one-on-one coaching, we equip those who are ready to lead, connect, and build what's next. My name is Remington Rodney, and since 2018, I've been on the path of transformation. Now I serve as your guide here in the Oasis, creating space for leaders like you to fully step into your full potential. My guest today, Kerry Emerson, a clinical hypnotherapist, psychotherapist, counselor, and women-centered coach who works with clients all over the world. Kerry blends science and soul to help people reprogram limiting beliefs, heal the inner child, and thrive. She's one of the few therapists globally trained in the cutting-edge rapid anxiety relief method, guiding people to release fear and overwhelm quickly and effectively. With a lifelong background in health, wellness, and education, Kerry brings a gentle yet powerful resource using tools like hypnotherapy, CBT, DFT tapping, timeline therapy, and inner child healing to design sessions that create real, lasting transformation. Her passion is to help people break free from limiting patterns, access their inner resources, and step into lives that feel deeply authentic, creative, and energized. This conversation is about unlocking the subconscious mind, breaking through the limiting beliefs, and creating lasting change. Kerry, welcome to Journey to the Oasis.
Thank you, Remy. It's lovely to be here, and thank you so much for that delightful intro.
Absolutely. It's an honor to share this space. For context, I did a session with Kerry a few months ago when I first arrived to Bali, and it completely transformed my life, and it transformed the way I look at limiting beliefs in the subconscious mind. So I want to say thank you for that. It's an honor to have you part of the show. And to dive right in, your work blends science and soul.
Yeah.
From hypnotherapy to inner child healing to rapid anxiety relief method. Before we dive into the techniques, I'd love to start with your story. What first drew you to explore the subconscious mind? How did that path lead you into the work you're doing today?
I've always been interested in the mind, Remy, and what motivates us, what we think, and how it then informs our behavior. So even as a teenager, the human mind fascinated me, my own and other people's. And I was always looking to gain an insight into what prompted someone to say that or do that. So I've had a long career in health and well-being. And as you said, I've studied, I'm a permanent student of life and of science and art and creativity. So the thing that led me to study hypnotherapy and psychotherapy was in observing over the course of my career in health and well-being that people had physical and emotional and mental dis-ease. And so much of that was treated at the surface level. And yes, a lot of things respond well to just working with the symptoms. But if we really want to make change in our lives, we need to go deeper than just the symptoms.
Yes.
And we need to really get to the root cause of our behavior. And it was not until I discovered hypnotherapy a few years ago while I was on holiday in Bali, having finished I know this place is so transforming. 40 years of coming here and I am transformed every time. But I had completed some sound therapy training over the previous few years, and I was just, scrolling through Facebook as we do, and there was an opportunity to attend a 3-hour live online introduction to hypnotherapy. Wow. And I thought, wow, this is my next thing. Because that movie, Everything All at Once, Everywhere? Well, I was actually, the movie hadn't been released yet, but I was in that frame of mind, like, I'm just ready. I'm ready for the next new thing. And I'm ready for that everything, everywhere, all at once. And suddenly in it came. And that, that opportunity to attend that hypnotherapy 3-hour session was part of that. So, you know, it was like 11 p.m. in Bali until 2 in the morning. And I thought, oh, I'm never going to stay awake that long. I was so hyped by the end of that 3 hours that I signed up to do the course straight away.
Wow.
And there was not even a thought. And yes, there was some magical neuro-linguistic programming language in there, and you felt so good. Why wouldn't you want to pursue it? But of those thousands of people that attended that course, only a couple of hundred signed up for it. So, and in studying hypnotherapy, all of a sudden, all of those, like what seems almost like magic and secret magic business came together in really clear, simple ways to undo life, not only a lifetime, but lifetimes of negative beliefs, limiting behaviors, limiting thought patterns, ancestrally limiting behaviors and beliefs. And I was completely amazed at the elegance and simplicity and long-lasting effects of one 90-minute hypnotherapy session. Truly amazed. And years later, I continue to be amazed. Every time a client says to me, that was life-changing, that was absolutely transformative, I'm still deeply grateful that I have these skills to share.
That's really beautiful. And I think we all can feel the radiance and excitement that you're exerting towards this.
Yeah.
You know, wellness and helping other people transform wasn't something new for you.
No, it was a lifelong journey. But I always felt like I was struggling. There was that final step that I wasn't able to facilitate people to undertake, even with, you know, setting goals and chunking down achievable goals over time. There was still, unless our unconscious mind actually aligns with our conscious desires, we are hitting our head against a brick wall. And with hypnotherapy, and we'll discuss what hypnotherapy is and isn't a little bit later, I think, with hypnotherapy, we actually get the unconscious mind to align with what it is we want and need and deserve in our lives. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like being able to focus your energy on the right target. And
absolutely.
Letting go. I use this analogy with a client today. We have clouds in our minds.
Yeah.
And when you can remove the clouds and let the sky just allow the sun to radiate through with blue skies, that's focus. You know,
absolutely.
That's presence.
Yeah.
I'm really curious though, like, what is your mission? You know, why did you step onto this path of helping other people build a deeper connection, heal? Like, how'd you fall into this world?
Yeah. Well, before, you know, we had a pandemic 6 years ago or so, whatever. And since that biological pandemic, there's been a psychological pandemic of fear, limitation, and constriction.
Yeah.
So it really was in response to that psychological pandemic that I thought, how can I, even if it's just one person at a time or, you know, one group at a time, how can I actually bring light and joy into a system that is constricted and suffering? How can I help joy and expansion open that? And really, I really am only the facilitator of encouraging each person's own unconscious and own unlimited capacity to heal and change. I'm just able to give it some clear instruction and direction on how to do that.
Yeah, I love, like, 2020 was such a transformative year on so many different dimensions, not just the physical aspect of the lockdowns and the sickness, but it was a massive awakening. I think for a lot of us, that was the first time we were able to take the blinders off and see through what was really happening. From an aspect of control. And I think for me, like, that's when I started meditating, actually. It was, funny enough, it was months before COVID kicked off in 2020, but it was in January. A friend of mine introduced me to meditation. It was perfect timing, right? Because I was able to start building this own self-awareness of my own limiting beliefs and start to create a clear vision for life that I want to create. And like, let's dive into limiting beliefs in general, because I fully believe like that's one of the biggest blockages, whether you're the highest performer, the top leader, government official, like, doesn't matter what you're working on. It's the biggest blocker from you making the next step in your life.
Absolutely. And the limiting belief is like our glass ceiling. We get so high, we get so far, and then suddenly we notice that whatever effort we make, we get to a certain point, but the final step just doesn't fall into place. And that's the saboteur that actually doesn't believe, the saboteur or the perfectionist or the critic sitting in our own mind, our own unconscious mind, saying, you don't deserve that. Who do you think you are to have so much more than all of these other people suffering in the world? Why should you have that rather than somebody else? Or even if we are, amazed at our own success, but we are spending 20 hours a day working on that success, and our family and our love life and our friendships are suffering, then there's a limited belief that I have to work really hard and really long hours in order to attain success. So when we hit the glass ceiling, that's when we know our limiting belief is coming in and nipping at our heels and saying, whether it's the saboteur saying, I'll do it, but all of a sudden I've gotten sick and I need to take a week out to recover, or all of a sudden the family member has a huge has an illness, or I need to put my focus and attention elsewhere. So our own mind can sabotage us and limit us so much. The interesting thing is, it does that to try and keep us safe.
100%.
Yeah, but those methods for keeping us safe were developed when we were like between the ages of birth and 7 years old. They are a child's mind's way of keeping us safe, and they don't serve us in our adult life where we were aspiring to do great things and help more people by doing those great things.
Yeah. I mean, conditioning is such a huge proponent of all of this, right?
Absolutely.
As adults, if you're still living with an unhealed inner child, that's how you're going to respond, react, make decisions from, take action from.
That's right.
And like you said, it's like sometimes safety is super important, to protect you from danger.
Exactly.
But most of the time, safety is this comfort.
Yes.
And I've learned on my journey, there's no growth in the comfort zone.
That's right. We have to live on the edge. We have to live at the edge of comfort, on the edge of the growth, and that's where the growth zone is, on the edge of comfort. And all of those things we learn as children are inculcate us to not be risk takers, and yet nothing worthwhile happens without an element of risk associated with it.
I mean, growing up, right, we all had like the beauty of children is imagination.
Yes.
And believe it or not, imagination is not just an imagination. I always say dreams aren't meant to stay as dreams, they're meant to become a reality.
That's right.
And I think even as kids, if we're thinking about, lightsabers in space, in aliens, like we lose that as we get older because
Yeah.
we're told, no, this is how you need to show up to create success. This is how we define success.
Yes.
What you were saying, the control.
That's right.
But it's crazy when you start to build this self-awareness and you surround yourself with amazing humans like yourself, like, oh, wait, there's a whole world that exists where I can be exactly who I want to be and create anything that I want.
Absolutely.
And I feel like deep down, that's what everyone desires, that freedom.
That's right.
But so many of us don't know how to bridge that gap.
That's right. It's bridging the gap. And the remarkable thing is the mind does not know the difference between, our perceived reality and our imagination. If we can imagine something and project ourselves into that imagined image and feel the feelings, hear the sounds, make it real, and step into that future imagined self, then we are already becoming that future imagined self. The mind says, that's who I am now. And that's one of the things we can do in hypnotherapy. We can actually encourage the mind to believe that this future self is the culmination of the current self with all of the attributes that we are seeking, because the mind does not know the difference. But we have to make it real. We have to make it vivid. We have to make the feelings intense. It has to involve feeling. It has to involve all of the senses. And then the mind says, this is real. And that's what Nelson Mandela did in jail. He imagined himself as a free man every day that he was, I believe, sorry if it's slightly incorrect, but his imagination kept him alive, and his imagination produced that remarkable soul who walked into freedom.
Yeah. Wow.
Because he knew he was a free man regardless of his circumstances. And he could imagine that, he could embody it, he could feel it, and that was who he was.
That right there is the power. It's the belief, even if it's not your current reality physically, if you can believe and embody.
Yeah.
Embodiment is such a huge pillar in what I teach. It's like that. Who do you have to be? How do you have to think? How do you have to feel?
Right. Yes.
What I really want to talk about is hypnotherapy now. I was a major skeptic of hypnotherapy. Like, I've heard of this technique for years now. And I think for a lot of us, we first think like, all right, who's going to be able to hypnotize me and like take control over my mind or tell me what to do? Like, because growing up, we all see like hypnotherapists, but let's demystify that.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
I've done a session. I know you've worked with so many amazing clients. Let's talk about hypnotherapy and exactly what it is and how it can be transformative for someone's life.
Absolutely. So let's just say what it isn't first. So some people, might have seen a movie where someone's hypnotized and becomes a killer, or has seen stage hypnosis where people get up on the stage and cluck like chickens or dance like ballerinas every time they hear the word red. And yes, hypnotherapy can do that, but that is for entertainment. And what hypnotherapists do in the therapy room is not entertainment. It's actually working with the unconscious mind to assist the client to live their most productive and fulfilled life. So the thing about hypnotherapy is it is well researched. It's been an area of science and study and research for decades. And so the techniques used in hypnotherapy are designed to help the person get into a very deeply relaxed state of mind. And that state of mind is that's where, in in neurobiology, we talk about the brainwave states. So the brainwave state that we achieve when we go into a deep, deep relaxation through guided hypnosis is the alpha theta border state. And that's where imagination, creativity, both conscious and unconscious downloads, and the body's natural healing state are all triggered in that state. So that state bypasses the conscious mind being only about 10% of everything the mind does. And, our executive functioning, our planning, our doing our daily work, driving the car, planning a holiday. That's our executive functioning, 10% conscious mind. The rest is under the surface. And the rest is where, as a hypnotherapist, we go into that part of the mind where all of the old beliefs, behaviors, patterns, emotions, everything you've seen, heard, thought, felt, this life, and even perhaps ancestrally, is stored there. So we can go in, and if there is a negative belief lurking there, like I don't deserve abundance, or I have to work really hard in order just to make it through the day. If those negative beliefs and others like them, or even our response to anger or frustration, we can go in, find the root cause of that belief and actually heal it and change it, and then take the client into a future experience. So heal the past, go into the future and live the future that is the desired psychological, emotional, behavioral state, and make it real. And then come back into present time, and the neuroplasticity of the brain actually allows that to happen. New neural pathways form, new behavior patterns arise out of those neurobiological interventions.
What are some of the transformations that you've seen from some of your clients through hypnotherapy?
Oh, Remy, there have been so many, like so many. Well, one of my own, which made me decide, that's it, I'm going international. I had a limiting self-belief that I could only, that my stage was big enough in South Australia. So, but I was wanting to take the impact of this methodology further. So I had a session with a colleague, and at the end of that session, it was like, that's it, I'm going international. That's it. That's the next step.
Huge leap.
It's a huge leap. And it happened seamlessly. So, and it happened within a month of that session. That belief changed, and it was like, absolutely, what do I need to do? So the what do I need to do wasn't part of the hypnotherapy session. It was the belief that changed that led to the behavioural change. So that's my story. But then there's another. So earlier this year, I had a lovely woman who was, she ran a retreat centre in Australia. And she was also wanting to take her influence internationally, and she was hitting up against that wall of, I don't deserve, this whole concept of I don't deserve to do well. My parents struggled, my grandparents struggled. Why do I deserve to do better than anyone else in my family? So once we know what the limiting belief is, it's a piece of cake to heal it. So through the hypnotherapy session, an hour-long session, we healed that limiting belief. And not only is she running retreats in Australia, she is now in the US, and in Europe, running her retreats. And this is June. Yeah.
It's powerful, and it's like the thing I love about hypnotherapy. One is just like the safe space that you created.
Yeah,
And I
thank
think
you.
like anyone
Yeah.
that is potentially seeking this too, it's like any sort of modality, making sure that practitioner, the ambassador, is creating a loving space for you to be authentic,
Absolutely. Yeah.
be yourself, to be
Yeah.
vulnerable. But then it was a series of questions though. You
Yes.
need someone that can really spark that greater reflection to get, like we talked
Mm,
about,
mm.
beyond the surface and into the core of like,
That's right.
what is it really that's holding you back from this?
Yes.
It can't just be, a surface level idea. It always
Right.
stems from somewhere
Yeah.
that has probably been inside you for much longer. But then, like, the greatest part here, and I feel like I've been able to kind of simulate experiences, like get someone into a calm, deep state.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, you're going to be able to consume and uh, integrate information
Yes.
when you're in a state of like deep awareness.
Yeah, that's right. And that's the thing with hypnosis. I'm glad you mentioned that word awareness, because hypnosis is not about you losing consciousness. In fact, it's honing your awareness, making your awareness laser focused on the issue at hand, and bringing in all of the strategies and techniques that the hypnotherapist has in their toolbox to actually address that particular issue. So a lot of people think, oh, well, if I didn't fall asleep, then the hypnotherapy didn't work. Or if I did fall asleep, then the hypnotherapy didn't work. But the reality is the conscious mind can go off and do whatever it likes. It can go and plan a holiday. It can sleep. But the unconscious mind, which the area of the mind we are focusing on, is always alert and aware. Even when you are asleep, the unconscious mind is alert and aware and taking in information. So you might know that, if it's a really hot night and you go to bed with a blanket on and you throw the blanket off in the night, you don't wake up. You don't wake up out of sleep and take the blanket off and go, I'm hot, I'm removing the blanket. Your unconscious creates that automatic movement. So the unconscious is always available to us. It's knowing how to access it, and then the techniques and strategies and the language that are going to be the most beneficial to create long-term, lasting change. And those things build upon each other. There are layers and layers of suggestion, of specific types of language, of specific instruction in a hypnotherapy session.
It's transforming the relationship with your mind from the battle to the asset.
Absolutely.
How do I leverage one of the most powerful things in human existence to create a more beautiful, fruitful life?
Absolutely. And the beautiful thing about leveraging every person's individual beautiful mind is that every person's individual beautiful mind has all of the resources within that it needs. It's just finding the pathway for those resources to be ignited and to be brought to the surface and to be aligned perfectly with the conscious desire, because it's in that alignment that flow happens.
100%. I mean, I feel like I've kind of made it my mission to be the best that I can possibly be. What does life look like? How great can life become if Remy maximized his potential?
Yeah.
And I've been putting a lot of energy in studying the greats and individuals like yourself. And for someone that's listening that has that similar desire, like, it's not just the hard work that they're putting in on their business or as an athlete.
That's right.
Every single one of these guys is cultivating a sense of awareness, a sense of stillness.
Yeah.
Like, this is always the common theme on creating like a fulfilling life, not just one that is of achievement and of money, of fulfillment, you know, like
Yes.
that. I feel like for us, like that's the true goal.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would use the term abundance, like fulfillment and abundance in every aspect of life. Because as you said, Remy, it's not just about wealth. It's about connection, friendship, family, community. Because unless we are connected to something other than just ourself and our ego, our life, we might be financially well off, but we are living in poverty of the soul or the spirit or the mind even, if we are not connected with others, if we are not uplifting others, if we are not part of the community of aspiring people and souls to make their world and the world a better place, not only for ourselves, but for others as well.
I think like that sparks like this word of consumption. And we live in this era of now AI, social media, news, and everything you consume is something that is picked up by the unconscious, subconscious mind.
Yeah.
And I think I think we can all do a lot better paying more attention to that.
Absolutely.
And I don't know, that's something I think I've really been like intentional about for years now, is listening to uplifting creators and podcasts and motivational speeches, and surrounding myself, consuming like-minded energy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And consumption is so much more about the food, more than the food we eat. It's about whatever we put into our body and mind. And there is so much negative information that we can consume if we choose to. But why would we choose that? You know, if you want to live your best life possible, then it makes sense to consume the information that supports growth, supports clarity of mind, supports physical and emotional strength and capacity and growth and well-being. So yes, I agree wholeheartedly. Consume the things that actually make you grow stronger and healthier and more resilient, whether it's your body, heart, mind, spirit, community.
And building off of what you're saying too, it's actually like the news and the media that creates the negative mindset. I feel like people are consuming that because they feel like they're connecting, plugging into what they think is important, whereas we've already referenced this control mechanism that truly is creating disconnection.
Yes.
You know, I look at true connection, like what we're doing right now, driving, like this is such an amplifier because we're in nature.
Absolutely.
We're grounding in it's something that is not artificial, but it's natural.
Absolutely.
You know? And there's so many things now in this world that lack the natural components that make us us.
Yeah, I can only agree again. Absolutely. And if we are thinking of our mind, then we want to nourish our mind with, like you said, positive information, podcasts, but we also want to be self-reflective. We can't have it all out there. It can't all be just input. I think it's incredibly important just to sit with ourselves and reflect and ask ourselves those important questions. What is important to me? And what am I doing that aligns with that? And what is impeding me from taking my next great step? And who is supporting me in fulfilling this outrageous, amazing vision that I have of my future, the future, our future? And actually reflect on those things and do the work of self-reflection, and then start asking who around me can support me to achieve those goals, who around me can support me to overcome those limiting beliefs and behaviors.
One of the most important things, self-reflection.
Yeah.
like you have to invest time in yourself. That's crucial time.
Yes, absolutely.
Being alone or even with a friend or
Yeah,
a therapist or a spiritual leader of like, there's so many different elements of reflection too. It's like celebrating how far you've come,
yes,
right? And that's reprogramming yourself. But 100% with those barriers and blockages, like writing something down is like a declaration, I feel like, to the universe, like, hey, I'm ready for more. I'm ready to
absolutely.
expand.
Yeah.
You know, at the beginning of every month, I create these like I did a book of September. September for me has been all about expansion.
Yes. Yeah.
Whether that's
Great.
with virtual, whether that's with community and relationships, with my vision, and like in each category. And I think like we can really break our life into micro like aspects.
Yeah,
Career and
absolutely.
finances, relationships, environments, lifestyle.
Yeah.
And I think one of my favorite ones is impact and legacy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. And when we get specific on these things, we can then reverse engineer, okay, who do I need to be?
Yeah,
Who do I need to be to create this into
that's
reality?
right. Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I think we can miss sometimes is we have these amazing goals, these amazing visions and dreams. And of course the universe like works with us to make that happen hand in hand, but we also have to do the work on our own.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So
Yeah. And that's really important, doing the work and using self-reflection as a reflective, positive tool, not as a rumination of how terribly I didn't do that well and that was terrible and oh my God, I'm the worst, manager, leader, parent. Reflection is about, okay, so this may have occurred. And like you said, who do I need to be for that now to be healed and for me to feel whole in that aspect of my life? And that's very much what my studies in positive psychology over the years led me to, that framework of the wheel of the wheel of life and those aspects that you outlined beautifully, Remy. And if we were scoring ourselves on the wheel and each of those is a spoke on the wheel, where are we out near the perimeter at a 10 and where are we in near the hub as a 0 or 1? And let's look at that and work on that. And how do we do that? And again, it's in community. It's with the support of a mentor, a guide, a coach, a hypnotherapist, someone who has the capacity to take you next level.
I think anyone that's listening, like this is an easy exercise, even if you pick a category or spend 5 minutes like, giving yourself a scale, right?
Absolutely.
And it's not something to be discouraged about. It's actually exciting.
Yeah.
And if you're in finances specifically, you're a 4 or 5, well, look how much opportunity you have for growth, right?
That's
Reframing,
right.
I
Yeah.
think that's a huge aspect of the subconscious mind, limiting beliefs.
Absolutely.
That's what we focus on in our second session in the Human Accelerator is, okay, you have your vision for where you want to go, but what's holding you back from getting? And it's the limiting beliefs. And it's like, okay, let's reframe that.
Yeah,
Why
absolutely.
not
Yeah.
Why not now?
Absolutely.
How do you have to be ready? You're ready now.
Yes.
Yeah, I highly encourage, like, go do that exercise. Try it out.
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments below. Like, how was that for you? What did that spark?
Absolutely. Yeah. And when the first time I did that exercise, it sparked me moving into an intentional community. I moved from a house in a beautiful suburb by the beach, but where I knew 2 people when I moved there 10 years earlier, and 10 years later, I still only knew two people. And that's not because I'm a hermit, but that's the way it was. So I thought, okay, community is so important to me. How do I live that? So I sold my place. And I was very fortunate. There was a small intentional community, an eco village, only 10 minutes away, and I bought there. And now when I'm home in Australia, there are nearly 400 people in my life that I can connect with at any time and have the most profound, deeply satisfying conversations, communications, connections with.
Yeah. That environment, like,
yeah,
so happy for you and just like proud of you for making that transition, because it supports your goals, it supports your vision.
Absolutely.
Right.
And since doing that, everything else have just pinged. Everything else. And even though, you know, that people in that community aren't behind me every day going, yay, Kerry, yay, Kerry. There is the sense of being connected and the sense of belonging and the sense of being appreciated even in just small ways. And knowing that when I walk around the 50 acres that the community is on, and I can stop. Well, I can't walk to the letterbox like 30 meters away, thinking I'll collect a letter and go back and read it in 5 minutes because I have 3 half-hour conversations on the way there and back. But that is the beauty of connection and community. And not everyone has the capacity to live in a situation like that. Of course, I'm aware of that. I'm aware of how privileged I am to have that. But we all have the capacity to connect with each other and with others who value what we value, who support what we support, and who can lift us up and not feel like they are bringing themselves down. That whereas we lift each other up, we are lifting those around us.
That's so beautiful. And just, yeah, I think community, right? Human connection now more than ever is essential. And I kind of want to talk about Bali as well. And this Saturday will be my 4th month. I'm hosting the community gathering, the first Oasis. And what you're kind of saying, like 30-minute conversation, because you're just running into amazing people. I've experienced that same thing.
Absolutely.
At the gym.
Yes.
Here in Perennian, you know, at Wrong Gym. And I've never really had that level of consistency of being around other authentic entrepreneurs, creators that are all here for the same reason.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that commonality is really freedom.
Yes.
You know, it doesn't matter how much money you're making, what business you have. Of course, we're all taking leaps every single day, but there's I think that was the magic that brought me to Bali was I want to create community.
Yeah,
I want
absolutely.
to be part of I want to be around other like-minded people that are going after life and not letting life happen to them.
Yes. And there is no age limit on that, Remy. Like there's a generation between you and I feel exactly the same. And part of my reason for coming to Bali was to be part of the culture of gentleness, of waking each morning and hearing the birds, feeling the breeze, being by the ocean. But again, the people, and I spend a lot of time at the Pyramids of Chi in Bali, and that is an absolute haven in the middle of the jungle and the rice paddies, where sound healing, physical healing, nutritional advice, all sorts of remarkable therapies are available to people. And I count the people there amongst my friends and colleagues. And we have, and you know, if you get to Ubud, to Bali, come to the Pyramids of Chi and walk around, feel the vibe, participate in the healing experiences. It is truly remarkable.
I would have to second that. Incredible place. Yeah. And Ubud, like, there is no place in the world like it.
No.
I was so fortunate to be living up there for 3 months. I'm sure I'll spend more time living there as well in the future. But like, it's this spiritual city.
Yeah.
Where, like, you have every single modality that, you know, has been created on this earth to transform yourself. Connect with other people on this journey as well of awakening, you know, and Just choosing your environment based off where you're going, where your goals are and vision is so important.
Absolutely.
Like I couldn't recommend it more. Like being from the United States, like I've experienced that now. 26, it's like there's a whole world out there for me to explore and to share my message and my mission.
Absolutely.
That's the next phase and chapter.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. And not everyone can come to Bali, and not everybody needs to come to Bali. It's a mindset, and it's do what you can where you are. And impact your family, your community, your friendship group, your business. Take your business to the next level with your vision and entrepreneurship. With the support of mentors, coaches, hypnotherapists who can help you next level and overcome those limiting beliefs, limiting habits, and there's self-imposed limits. You know, we tend to think that our environment imposes a lot of restriction, and it may do. But if we can reframe that as well as seeing our environment as giving us the opportunity to focus on what is really important to us, to make us that little bit more committed to the path and the growth and the next level that we are aspiring to.
So much wisdom in this conversation, and just extremely grateful for your time, energy, commitment to what we're building here at Virtual, and to be able to support you as well and your own mission of uplifting and awakening. I've got a closing question. Here on Journey to the Oasis, we see the Oasis as that space of truth, freedom, and alignment. What does your Oasis look like right now?
That's a beautiful question. My Oasis is like a clear mind. A clear mind that is supported by a healthy body to experience, because I'm getting older, experience the joy in life and for me, part of that joy is legacy. And part of legacy is to offer what I offer with hypnotherapy, women-centered coaching, women's sacred rites of passage, these things that actually just, fill us up with the joy of, whether it's the joy of achievement, the joy of having a vision and pursuing it, or the joy of just settling into the beauty that surrounds us. So that's my Oasis for me.
You embody that every single day. From the moment that we connected, literally when Kerry and I, after we did our hypnotherapy session, I was like, how do I collaborate with this woman? Because she is such a gem, truly magical.
Thank you.
And once again, thank you for sharing your wisdom. It's such a powerful conversation. It's an honor to welcome you to the virtual ecosystem and family. To everyone listening, remember, true transformation begins within. Kerry and I are both creating spaces, whether through her powerful hypnotherapy and women-centered coaching, or through portal sessions in our global community, to support you on that. Together, we're helping people break free from limiting beliefs, access their deepest resources, and step into lives of clarity, love, and alignment. Because when you choose to heal from within, you step closer to your Oasis. And from there, a new reality awaits. Thank you, Kerry.
Thank you, Remy. It's been a delight, and thank you. And I hope we get to connect at some time.
Thank you, everyone.